Patriots have won 3 games in a row. Can they make it 4 down in Tennessee? Let's break it down. Welcome, everybody, to this week's game previews. The Patriots are still on the road, Ev, a third straight time.
Tell me about it.
They've won 2. You got to head down there. I know you're looking forward to it.
I know, yeah.
I know you're looking forward to it, though,
Yes.
but the Patriots are about to face a team in turmoil. Just fired their head coach. We've now got an interim coach. We're talking this week about teams getting bumps from interim coaches. It's been a struggle for the Titans so far this year, and the Patriots are certainly streaking right now. Drake May has looked great. And for Mike Vrabel, this is a homecoming for him. Not just him, but Harold Landry, members of his coaching staff. So a lot of connections here. They head down to Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big game, I would think, for Mike Vrabel. I know he's trying to downplay it and try to make the main thing, like they like to say. But this is a big game for him to go back to Tennessee. And you mentioned the head coach bump, the in-season firing, and there is legitimate proof that does happen. Since 2010, teams are 17-16 the week after firing their coach. That's usually a team that wins about 25% of their games. So to be over 500 tells you that there is something legitimate going on there. Now, last couple of years, it hasn't been quite as fruitful, but Jeff Saturday, Darren Reese, Antonio Pierce, they all won their first games as interim head coaches. So if you're looking for an angle that the Titans can be a little bit sneaky in this game, you mentioned the 3 straight road games. That's a grind. And then also this interim coach bump is a legitimate thing that happens in the NFL.
But otherwise, we got to rely on the Patriots just going down there, playing some clean football and trying to get a win against a team that's, reeling, has one win of their own, but that was the way they pulled that one off. A little bit difficult to replicate unless the other team helps you. But I want to start with Cam Ward on that side. 2 players, really. Cam Ward and, Jeffrey Simmons. Those 2 are the guys that I think that's where it starts and really the focus on. And Cam Ward, first overall pick, been up and down so far for him this year. But you see some of the, ability to make plays and certainly he has skill. And on the other side, Jeffrey Simmons is just an absolute beast. And you can tell the respect that Mike Vrabel still has for him, the connection that they still have. What do you see when you see those 2 guys?
Yeah, well, starting with Ward, I think like any quarterback, he's got the physical tools. So when you go number 1 overall, you're going to have some mobility, some arm talent, some arm strength to push the ball down the field. So you see at times that he'll get hot and, he'll get on a roll like he did in Arizona a little bit in that second half, and he'll make some big time throws down the field. Now, the efficiency and the consistency has not been good. He's down near the bottom of the league in QBR and EPA and all those fancy metrics. So it hasn't been consistently good. But like any quarterback in this league, when you go, drafted that high, you can get hot, you can have a day, and there are opportunities there on the film where you see, okay, this guy's got some arm talent and ability. I don't think he's been quite as good as Drake May was his rookie season, but there are some similar shades of, if you start to build this around him down in Tennessee and you get him a stable coaching staff and you help him out with some more weapons, that there is ability there from Cam Ward. So I wouldn't sleep on Cam Ward totally. Now, there are some flaws to his game. He's taken 25 sacks already through 6 weeks. That's a big one. And then you mentioned Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, this guy is just an absolute game wrecker. He's one of the best players in football this year. He's right there at the top of the list in every stat when it comes to interior pressure, win rate, pressures, hurries, sacks, all of it. He's been one of, if not the best defensive players in football through the first 6 games of the season. So that's one of those guys where I like to say you got to get 4 hands on him, right? It's not good enough to just have 2 hands on him. You need 4 hands on him at all times.
Yeah, and you might need a 5th too with the way that guy plays. But so Drake May, we talk about him plenty, and it's hard not to be really excited, from a Patriots perspective of what he's done this year. Talked a lot this week about just his pocket presence, the improvement he's made within the season has been outstanding. But I'm going to throw a little curveball here. What do we have to do to get the run game going? Because we love Drake May. He's pushing the ball down the field. He's making plays in crunch time. He's doing all the things that we expected. But how bad the run game has just been kind of surprising. You don't usually see this kind of disparity. And for me, looking at this, it says, wow, if Drake May is this good without much of a running game to lean on, how good would he be if they get that run game going. Is this the week to get the run game going against Tennessee?
Yeah, and the other way to look at it, too, is how sustainable is it to be this one-dimensional in terms of your efficiency on offense. And at some point does that come back to roost a little bit with the Patriots offense. So I do think you can kind of really do what you want against this Titans defense. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, but I don't
Run
think
away
that
from
they're,
Jeffrey Simmons.
yeah, they're particularly good against the pass or the run right now. So you probably can run the football, but you say run away from Jeffrey Simmons. And I do think when you look at this Patriots offense as a whole and their offensive line, it's more athletic than it is physical. And I do wonder if maybe getting the ball outside a little bit more, some more stretch, some more tosses out to the outside, especially with Travion Henderson, if that would get the running game going just a little bit, because I'm looking especially at those two rookies on the left side and trying to ask those guys to move bodies in the trenches and really get on double teams and really insert their will on guys might not be as fruitful as let's get this extremely athletic left side of this line out in space and let's see if these guys can block a little bit better on the move. So it's never one thing with the run game. When I was watching the film last week from the Saints game, it's like on this play, that guy screwed up. And on that play, this guy screwed up. And it's never one guy. But I do wonder the way that they're trying to run the ball is a lot of right at you. And if they try to maybe dress it up a little bit differently, maybe they'll have some more success.
Yeah, let's wrap up though. Just talking about the defense a little bit. We talked to Robert Spillane this week about the identity that they want to have, and I think we've seen it at times. We've seen that aggressiveness, gang tackling. What is it? Effort and finish. We've seen effort and finish plenty, but I think there's still some strides to be made in the pass game, and really, to me, it's about syncing everything up because sometimes you're having great pass rush and the coverage maybe lets you down, or the pass rush isn't quite getting there, and it's allowing some of the windows, to be open a little longer for the quarterback to make the completions. The Patriots defense this week, though, has another opportunity, just like the run game does, I feel like, to really put the clamps down on Cam Ward in this passing attack and maybe just how the kind of game you can build off of going forward.
Yeah, especially if Calvin Ridley doesn't play in this game when he suffered a hamstring injury last week. And we know about hamstrings around here. Those can be a little bit tough. So maybe he doesn't play in this game as well, and then they're pretty limited offensively in the pass game. Van Jefferson had a nice game for them last week without Ridley out there for most of it. Shigakonkwu, their tight end, is kind of a Jonnu Smith catch and run tight end who can be sneaky. But I think in general, this is a group that the Patriots should be able to shut down in the passing game if they play their game to their level. You mentioned the coverage. That's where I go. I personally look at it and say, last week against Spencer Rattler, you're right around 45-50% pressure rate on him, but it just didn't feel like it was impactful pressure because he was getting the ball out, he was moving around back there, and there's open receivers down the field. So even though you might grade it as a pressure, it wasn't really making an impact on the play because someone is in the dig or the slant is just wide open right behind the pressure, and it's not really able to get home and really impact the game. This defensive line for the Patriots is coming. Like, this group is a really good group. We know that Christian Barmore and Milton Williams are good players, but I think Landry and Chason have been playing at a high level as well. If they can just get these quarterbacks to hold the football a little bit longer than what they have through the first 6 weeks, I think this line can take over games. And this is the game to do it. I mentioned the 25 sacks that Cam Ward has taken. It's been the biggest issue for him is that he's held the ball for a while and taken a lot of sacks. So if you can kind of get him to hold the football, I think you can have one of those days.
All right, well, Patriots are going to wrap up this 3-game road swing down in Tennessee. Game kickoff at 1 o'clock. Be sure to tune in, though, to the Patriots pregame show that starts at 11:45. We'll see you then.